Tonight, new allegations that BP delayed handing over evidence that might suggest those deep-water plumes of oil came from its leaking well. NOAA researchers have already reported that they do based on the preponderance of evidence. But others from the University of South Florida wanted to be doubly sure. So they asked BP for oil samples from the well to do what they could call chemical fingerprinting. According to the congresswoman you're about to meet, they didn't get the oil until more than 3 weeks later, and only after she and several other lawmakers interceded on the university's behalf. Actually, long after she interceded. She pressed BP on the 9th of June. Researchers got the oil on the 25th. Stuff you could send overnight. It's not like BP didn't have any oil lying around. They didn't exactly have to drill for it. Hundreds of gallons a minute were being collected on the surface. Yet days after researchers asked for vital material and more than 2 full weeks after an elected representative of the people demanded it, that's how long it took for BP to come clean. Congresswoman Kathy Castor was the lawmaker who spearheaded the push for samples from BP. She joins me now. Congresswoman, why did it take 3 weeks and pressure from you and other Florida lawmakers to get BP to just simply hand over oil to scientists?
Well, the delay was unconscionable. I mean, since the BP oil blowout in the Gulf, our researchers and scientists from Florida colleges and universities have been tracking the oil, the impact on marine life. They confirmed a deep-sea oil plume that was discounted by BP, and then requested an oil sample that was met with resistance from BP.
And when you finally met with BP, I mean, they blamed it on what, a miscommunication?
They said it was a miscommunication, but we have emails that demonstrate that the person involved put up a great deal of resistance and, in fact, insisted that he receive all of the data from the University of South Florida scientists, implying that no oil sample would be forthcoming, and really just showed them their hand. So I met with BP executives the day after I learned about this in my office and pressed them. They said it was a miscommunication, but they would provide the oil sample, and yet it took 3 weeks to get that oil sample.
It does seem, and I mean, I hate to say this, but from the start, from the earliest moments of this thing, BP has gone out of its way to avoid providing scientists with the data that they need to study this leak. I mean, it's one thing for them not to come on this program or not to be transparent with journalists, not to be transparent with the American people, but to deny the very scientists who are studying this in many crucial ways, whether it's the videotape trying to determine the flow rate or these underwater plumes, to deny them evidence that they need, scientific evidence, just seems incredible.
Yeah, we needed that oil sample to provide the direct link from the wellhead to the oil flowing onto Florida's beaches and the Gulf Coast beaches. But they also can analyze the molecular fingerprint of the oil to determine how it will evolve over time, how it will affect marine life, how it will affect the water column, especially since we've never used this amount of dispersant on an oil blowout before. These are critical questions that we need the answers to, and when they delay 3 weeks, that means we're further behind in addressing the terrible impacts of this disaster.
Congresswoman Kathy Castor, I appreciate you being on tonight. Thank you very much. Up next, more than 2,000